Hi, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to study about history of English literature in a short and easy way. So let's get started. The history of English literature is a long and dynamic journey that reflects the growth of the English language, the evolution of society, and the transformation of human thought across centuries. It begins with heroic oral songs of warriors and continues through the refined courtly tales, the intellectual vibrancy of the Renaissance, the age of reason and satire, the emotional response of Romanticism, the realism of the Victorian age, and the experimental voices of modern and contemporary literature. Each literary period carries a distinct worldview, shaped by political events, cultural changes, and philosophical movements. In this episode, we will move through all major ages of English literature to form a clear foundational map for the upcoming detailed episodes. Historical and social context. English literature developed alongside major changes in society. Early England experienced invasions, warrior culture, and oral storytelling. The Middle Ages saw Christianity shape beliefs, education, and art. The Renaissance introduced classical learning, science, and the celebration of human creativity. The Enlightenment emphasized reason and intellectual thought, while the Romantic Age reacted with a return to emotion, nature, and individuality. The Victorian Age mirrored industrial growth, class tensions, and moral questioning, while the modern period responded to world wars, technological progress, and psychological complexity. Across time, literature remained a mirror of the human condition, adapting to the needs and beliefs of each era. Now we will discuss major periods in history of English literature. Old English period, 450 to 1066. The Old English period marks the earliest phase of English literary history, shaped by the Germanic tribes who settled in Britain. Literature at this time was largely oral, passed through songs and recitations by bards, celebrating bravery, honor, and warrior culture. The texts reflected a harsh life filled with battles, loyalty to kings, and the constant presence of fate and death. With the arrival of Christianity, monks began recording these works, adding religious moral tones to earlier heroic stories. A famous surviving work from this age is the anonymous epic Beowulf, which tells the tale of a hero fighting monstrous forces to protect his people, representing the values of courage and loyalty in a dangerous world. Middle English period, 1066 to 1500. After the Norman conquest, the English language absorbed French influences, which softened vocabulary and expanded expression. Society shifted from tribal warfare to feudal hierarchy, and literature began to explore themes of romance, adventure, love, morality, and religion. Storytelling gained more emotional depth and humor, capturing social life and human nature. The most important figure of this age is Geoffrey Chaucer, whose The Canterbury Tales presents a group of pilgrims sharing stories on their journey, portraying characters from different walks of life with warmth, realism, and satire. Literature during this period became more accessible and relatable, reflecting both the joys and flaws of everyday society. The Renaissance, 1500 to 1660. The Renaissance brought a new spirit of learning, inspired by the revival of classical Greek and Roman literature. People began to value individuality, curiosity, and artistic expression. Poetry flourished in new lyrical and sonnet forms, and drama reached extraordinary heights. The theater became a central cultural institution, and playwrights explored human emotions, ambition, morality, and destiny. The greatest figure of this era was William Shakespeare, whose tragedies like Hamlet and comedies like A Midsummer Night's Dream revealed deep understanding of human psychology and universal themes. Writers such as Christopher Marlowe and Edmund Spenser also contributed, shaping English literature into a powerful artistic force. The Neoclassical Age, 1660 to 1798. This age valued order, logic, clarity, and social correctness. Writers believed that literature should instruct as well as entertain and should follow rules of balance and reason. They wrote with a polished and refined style, often using satire to criticize the foolishness and immorality of society. This was also the age of newspapers, essays, and public debate. Alexander Pope stood out in this period with works like The Rape of the Lock, a humorous poem that mockingly treated trivial social conflicts as epic battles, reflecting society's vanity and elegance. Literature became a mirror for public life, manners, and intellect. The Romantic Age, 1798 to 1837. The Romantic Age was a reaction against the strict rationality of the previous era. Writers turned toward nature, imagination, emotion, and the inner spirit of the individual. They valued simplicity, freedom, and sincerity of feeling. Poetry especially flourished as a medium of personal expression. William Wordsworth, in his collection Lyrical Ballads, emphasized the beauty of nature and the emotional experiences of ordinary people. The Romantics believed that nature was not just scenery, but a living presence that could heal, inspire, and lift the human soul. The Victorian Age, 1837 to 1901. The Victorian era unfolded during Britain's industrial expansion, urban growth, and strict moral expectations. Literature became deeply concerned with the problems of society, poverty, inequality, and the challenges of modernization. The novel became the dominant form, offering detailed portrayals of life and character. Charles Dickens, through works like Oliver Twist, exposed the harsh realities faced by orphans and the poor, combining storytelling with social criticism. Writers of this period aimed to raise awareness about injustice while also depicting family life, love, faith, and personal growth. The Modern Age, 1901 to 1945. Modern literature emerged in response to world wars, scientific progress, and changing social values. Writers questioned old beliefs and experimented with new narrative techniques. Themes of uncertainty, doubt, alienation, and psychological complexity became central. Stream of consciousness writing explored the inner workings of the mind. James Joyce, in Ulysses, created a groundbreaking narrative that followed thoughts and memories in a flowing, non-linear style, symbolizing the complexity of modern life. In conclusion, the journey of English literature from ancient heroic songs to modern experimental narratives reflects the evolving spirit of humanity. Each period contributed something unique, whether it was emotional depth, intellectual clarity, artistic creativity, or cultural diversity. By understanding these literary ages in sequence, we gain insight into how society, beliefs, language, and artistic expression have shaped one another. So that was our today's topic. If you have any questions related to it, you can ask in the comment box. Thanks for watching.